afternoon, and thanks so much for joining this special edition of News Channel 9 First at 4. I'm Christy Casciano.
Must be a pretty big deal. I'm Jeff Kulikowski. I'm not normally here with you, but I'm glad to be with you here today.
Glad to have you here, partner.
At any moment, an official welcoming event will kick off at Myron Victory Court for Gerry McNamara. Let's take a quick live look right there, right now. People waiting. There's the pep band, so you know the excitement is building already. The pep band's going there because they are about to introduce their new men's basketball head coach, Gerry McNamara. Of course, he's expected to be there with many others to talk. When it officially starts, we will jump in, Christy.
And McNamara, as you know, recently picked for the job after his coaching season at Siena came to an end in the NCAA tournament, replacing Adrian Autry. The event expected to last about 45 minutes. Then at 5 o'clock, McNamara is going to be holding a press conference. But what a party right now, Jeff. Take a look at that. There's so much excitement here. We haven't seen this in a long time.
Well, we were kind of going through this. You and I have obviously been here around a long time in Syracuse, both here and just in the community. And we were trying to think, has there ever been a coaching introduction announcement like this one? Obviously, there's not a lot in the men's program.
Right.
Jim Boeheim was there for a long time. But can you remember anything?
I certainly don't recall anything quite like this. They really are making a big welcome back Gerry party. And, you know, there's been so much buzz over G-Mac taking over at Syracuse. I don't think it's just nostalgia, Jeff. It's also belief. I think a lot of people believe in him from his legendary run as a player, cemented by that national championship, his years on the bench as an assistant. This feels a little louder, a little prouder. To a lot of fans I've talked to, it feels right.
Yeah, and I think what really solidified it for G-Mac and SU is that run he made with Siena at the end of the season. Obviously, taking them through the MAC and winning that tournament championship there, which then put them into the NCAA tournament, and gee, almost pulling off one of the most historic upsets in college basketball history, taking down Duke. I think at that moment, any of the nostalgia of it went away, and it was like, that's really the right guy. It's great that he's an SU legend, but even better, look what he has done as a head coach here. We know he's got the chops. We actually saw what he could do as an assistant coach, but now as a head coach at Siena, that was remarkable.
And there's the man of the hour, Gerry McNamara. Look at that smile from ear to ear, right? And I think fans want to see a return of that toughness, that underdog chip that defined Syracuse when he played for the Orange. They believe he can bring that to coaching now.
Looks like they're going to start. Looks like we're going to jump in. There's Gerry with Brian Blair, the AD, Mike Haney, the incoming chancellor.
Haudenosaunee, the indigenous people on whose ancestral lands Syracuse University now stands. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Myron Victory Court at the JMA Wireless Dome. We are so glad that all of you are here today. I'm Jeff Stecker, Chief Communications Officer here at Syracuse University. And first, I want to take a moment to welcome some of our guests today and some of the people who are hosting us today. First and foremost, Chancellor Syverud and Dr. Chen. All the many university leaders that we have here, and our fantastic students, faculty, and staff. And of course, yes, round of applause for them too. We're also grateful for our elected representatives here today, as well as our business community, and of course, all of our Orange fans here today. Thank you for joining us. So we have a lot of you here in the room today. We've got a lot of you watching this on the live stream. I think some on the ACC network. So wherever you are, welcome back, because today is a great day to be Orange. What you are about to witness is the next chapter of one of the most storied basketball programs in this country. And there is no one better to help us write that next chapter than the man we're going to welcome in just a couple of minutes. But first, our first speaker today has led Syracuse athletics with distinction for the past decade. And he played a key role in getting our next head coach home. Please welcome Director of Athletics, John Wildhack.
Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, everyone. This is pretty awesome to see this scene. I can't wait till there's 30,000 people next year in the Dome for hoop game, huh? As Jeff said, it's a new era of Syracuse basketball, and it starts now. And first, I just want to welcome back Coach McNamara, Katie, the McNamara family, and a special welcome to Jerry's parents, Gerard and Joyce, and all the McNamara family for being here today. I want to thank Chancellor Severud and Chancellor-elect Haney for their support during the search process, along with our board chair, Jeff Scruggs, trustee and chair of the Athletics Committee, Steve Ballantyne, trustee Mike Tirico, and especially Brian Blair, our incoming athletic director. For their partnership during this search. And as Jeff said, I also want to welcome several dignitaries today. We have Congressman John Manny, his wife Jen, and son Jack. Welcome. And how about a really big welcome for a Hall of Famer, Coach Boeheim. Jerry's ready for this. We didn't choose Jerry because he's an alum, or his number 3 hangs from the rafters in the JMA Wireless Dome. He's the right person at the right time to lead our program. Being on the NCAA Men's Basketball Selection Committee, all the members are charged with watching a lot of basketball games over the course of a season. When I mean a lot, a lot. I purposely watched a good number of Siena games. His team played smart, hard, and tough. And we closely observed what Jerry built in 2 years at Siena. He took over a program that won 4 games. 4 games. And in 2 years, 23 wins, a conference championship, and almost pulled off one of the most amazing upsets I don't think I need to finish that sentence. What he did at Siena was a total rebuild of the program, and he did it the right way. Recruiting good players, high character players, and a team that competed vigorously every single time they took the court. Jerry's vision and philosophy is exactly what we need. An emphasis on player evaluation, which is more critical in today's college basketball than ever before. Player development. You have to identify the right players, and then you have to develop the right players. And we watched what his Siena teams did in kids who came in as freshmen, in the leaps that they made in the progression between their freshman years and their sophomore years. And last is culture. In this environment, having a strong culture and any team is more important than ever. And those kids gave 40 minutes every single game because of the respect and the admiration they had for their coach, but what he gave back to them. He coaches his players hard, but he supports them. Coach McNamara epitomizes what Syracuse, our university, our community, what Syracuse basketball is. We're tough. We're gritty. We're determined. And we win. When I met with our team last week, I was very direct and candid. when I told them why I hired Gerry. I said, I hired Gerry McNamara. We hired Gerry McNamara because Gerry McNamara is a winner. One as a player, one as assistant coach, and now he's one as a head coach. And in this moment in time, we need our alumni, we need our fans, our students, the upstate New York business community, and the global Syracuse business community to support Coach McNamara and our program. And I guarantee you, if Coach McNamara receives the support from all those constituents, we will flip this program quick. We will make you proud. We will make you proud for years to come. I am excited about the future of our men's basketball program. Congratulations, Coach McNamara, and go Orange.
It is return of the Mac, and in the best way possible. Coach, congratulations and a welcome back to Syracuse, in a place that you belong, a place that you've called home for so long. And man, I just think about all the amazing memories that you've provided all of us and what you've done, putting your body on the line, the blood, sweat, and tears, being willing to go and get a brand new ankle because you provided so much happiness for this community. We wouldn't have won 10 bleeping games without you, and we're going to win a whole lot more than 10 bleeping games with you. Can't wait to see what the future has in store. You have earned this opportunity in every way possible. Go get it, man. We're all looking forward to it.
Coach, it's Ian Eagle from CBS Sports. I am at the NCAA tournament working this event, and for years upon years, Syracuse was a staple in the big dance. It's time for that to happen again. And everybody within Orange Nation knows that you're the man to make that happen. I know orange courses through your veins. Everybody is aware of your competitiveness, your passion, and your winning attitude. Congratulations, Gerry McNamara. Welcome home.
College athletics is hard right now. It's tough to win. You need somebody at the head of the line leading your team. In Orange Nation, there is no better person to get behind than one of our own. On April 7th, 2003, almost 23 years ago, Gerry McNamara helped give us one of our best days as sports fans. Today is another one of those great days. Welcome home, G-Mac. The family's behind you. Go on.
Yeah, Coach, I should have mentioned we have a few surprises for you for the afternoon. This is obviously a huge day for Syracuse athletics, but there are few people more invested in where this program is headed than our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor-elect Mike Haney.
Thank you, Jeff. Wow, this is a great day. Thank you to all the Orange family, those that are here with us today and far away, for taking the time to join us. It is terrific to see so many members of our community here with us, including Chancellor Severud, Dr. Chen. You have watched more basketball games from the sidelines than I can possibly count, and I know you'll continue cheering for the Orange even from Ann Arbor. I also want to acknowledge the many other distinguished guests and dignitaries who have joined us. I'm going to get to our head coach in a minute, but first I want to begin with some gratitude, and that's going to start with John Wildhack. I'll say this plainly. Syracuse University has been extraordinarily fortunate to have John leading our athletics department for the past decade. He has modeled stability, he's modeled character, and he's shown, and the grace that he's shown throughout this transition really speaks volumes, John, about who you are. So on behalf of the university, thank you. I also want to thank Chancellor Severud and Dr. Chen. Chancellor, your study leadership has ensured that we remain at the forefront of one of the most important conversations that's happening in college athletics. You've positioned us to lead, not scramble and catch up in a landscape that is changing rapidly. And there's more work to do, but I think you have set us up for success. So thank you very much. to Brian Blair, you've been on the job for about 30 seconds at this point, and you're already part of one of the most consequential hires that this program has seen in decades. And Brian has brought energy and urgency and vision to this process. He didn't just want a press release today. He wanted this. He wanted a moment that would really create shared ownership of what's ahead and where this program is going, and that speaks volumes about what we should expect from Brian Blair moving forward. Finally, thanks to all of our students and our alumni and our faculty and staff and donors and fans who are, again, here and watching from afar. I know how much you love Syracuse basketball. Like with the AD search, I've heard that from many, many folks, almost in every corner of Central New York. And I think today we're introducing someone who is the right person to lead us forward. I want to take you back in time for a moment. Late December 2005, before I had officially started at Syracuse University as a new faculty member, I came to town to look for a house. And while I was here, there happened to be a basketball game happening at the Dome. It was my first Syracuse University basketball game. December 30th, 2005, Syracuse University versus Kent State. We won. Gerry had 10 points, 12 assists. That was, by the way, more assists than the rest of his teammates combined that night. In that game, Gerry moved to 4th place on the all-time steals list at Syracuse University, actually passing Pearl Washington. By the end of the season, he would finish 2nd all-time on that particular list. But the stat that stuck with me the most wasn't anything that happened on the court. It was actually in the stands. So remember, this was 5 days after Christmas. Our students were away, and we were playing Kent State. Not exactly a marquee matchup. And still, that night, there were 21,000 people in the stands. That was really my first lesson in what it means to be orange, which is why it means so much to me. And I think this community, that one of the people that taught me that lesson that night is back where he belongs. He's back in orange with his wife, Katie, and their children, Jerry, Grace, Maggie, Patrick, by his side. Where's Gerry? I hear you got your dad a fly rod for Christmas. We're gonna be tight, me and you. What I experienced first back on December 30th, 2005, and really learned over my next 20 years at Syracuse University, is that Syracuse basketball is embedded in the soul of this university. It connects generations. It connects this campus to Syracuse, New York, and beyond. It connects our alumni across the country and around the world to something they feel in their soul every time the ball goes up. So when Brian and John walked me through this search and made the case for Gerry, what stood out wasn't just his resume, which is impressive. It wasn't just the results, though they speak for themselves. It was actually something more fundamental. It was that every person who worked with Gerry, every reference that we talked to, whether it was a player, a colleague, or a coach, said the same thing. They said he makes people better. He holds them to a high standard. He cares about them as people, not just as athletes. That he's the kind of leader that we would want for our student athletes, because at the end of the day, this is a university, and everything we must do needs to center on our students. If we're going to build a championship program, it has to be about more than wins. It has to mean that young people who come to Syracuse University leave here better. They leave here better competitors, sure, but also better people. People who are ready for whatever comes next, who represent the university with pride, who look back on their time here and say that this place changed them. I am confident that Gerry McNamara will build that kind of program while returning Syracuse basketball to the national prominence that it deserves. So my last thing is an ask of all of you, to everyone here and everyone watching, it's important that we make clear that you have a role to play here as well. Your job is to show our student athletes, our new head coach, what it means to have the full force of the Orange Nation behind them. Your job is to pack the dome and once again make it the most electric environment in college basketball. I had like 5 more lines, but I think I should stop right there on that moment. But please show up, be loud, because I think when this community shows up for whatever it is, there's nothing quite like it. So, Gerry, we're still getting to know each other a little bit, but hear this clearly. You heard it from John. You're going to have everything you need to succeed. You have the full support of this administration, our board, Brian, John, the entire athletics department, and everyone in this room and beyond. You came here from Scranton to compete. You went to Albany to coach. Now you're coming home to build. We're ready. Go Orange.
Welcome back, G-Man. Coming home. Perfect timing. Perfect guy for this job. We're all excited. Syracuse Nation is excited like I haven't seen it in a long time. And everybody is behind you 100%.
We're talking about bringing one of our own back. It feels like we're bringing one of our own back where it's everybody loves G-Mac. Like I'm loved up there. Right. He's loved. Like he is supported. He's loved because he never left. Now your North Star comes available. Tell me the timing ain't perfect. It's perfect. Tell me the universe don't work in wonderful ways. Yeah. Because now you gotta prove yourself. The world wanted to see you prove. The community wanted to see you prove yourself. And you did that.
I have no doubt that Coach McNamara is the right person for this job. He had such a huge impact on my life and career while I was at SU. No one represents this university or program better than him. He knows exactly where we want to be and how we're going to get there. I am so happy for him, so glad to see him back, and I look forward to seeing him back on the sidelines. Go Cuse.
G, what's going on? I just want to reach out and say congratulations. I know you worked your butt off for this. And there's no one out there more deserving than you. You won as a player at Syracuse. You won at Siena. And I know you're going to do the same thing as the head coach at Syracuse University. So, you know you always got my love and support. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Dome rocking again. Go Orange.
I just wanted to say congratulations, bro. Huge accomplishment. Great season last year. We're excited to have you. I'm so proud of you. As somebody as I look up to as an older brother, you're an inspiration. You've helped me so much in my career. And I know you're going to do big things and great things over at the Cuse. Congrats again. Much love to you and your family, brother.
So Brian Blair was named the university's next director of athletics, I think less than 3 weeks ago, right, Brian? Or that's our timeline. And I think he had about 3 minutes to enjoy that moment before this search began for him. So please join me in welcoming our next director of athletics, Brian Blair.
Wow. Wow. You know, last week I talked about weaponizing the dome. I guess I should have said weaponize Myron Victory Court instead. I mean, this is flat out. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the country. Nowhere else in the country does this happen, to welcome one of our own home. You guys are special. Let's go. You know, before I get started, I just really want to take 1 second. Thank you to our communications team. We've done 3 of these in the past 4 weeks. I can tell they're getting a little tired, but they continue to execute at such a high level. So please, round of applause for our comm staff. So we had the press conference, I guess that was actually, a week and a half ago, and then instantly the question is, well, what are you looking for in a head coach? What's the outline? And if I'm being honest, sorry, media, you never really truly give up the secret sauce, right? You give them kind of broad parameters because you don't want to get too dialed in to box yourself in the future. But you look for a handful of things. I think you want, in this day and age of college athletics, you want somebody that can build team faster than ever and get that team to play better than they could versus the sum of the individual parts, right? So you need people to come together and get more out of that experience. You want an elite relationship builder, right? The days of the dogmatic do it my way or the highway, that does rarely exist in today's college athletics. You need somebody that can pour into young people, build that relationship, and then pull on that relationship to get the absolute best out of those young people along the way. You need a keen talent evaluator. You need somebody that can find that talent and make really efficient use of our resources. I'm big on, certainly we've got to have the resource and we've got to spend, but we also want to be as efficient and more efficient than anybody in the country. If you can do both of those things simultaneously, you got a really good shot at being successful. And lastly, we want a head coach that out-coach the other coaches. And I think you heard some of the best coaches in the country or the best brands in the country talk about the quality of coach Gerry McNamara is on the court. But the last thing is a little squishier than that, right? It's this intangible of, I'm willing to take this opportunity on. We had a lot of conversations with a lot of individuals, and some of them asked, well, what's it like to coach when Coach Boeheim is in the building and his name's on the court? What's it like to stay on the sideline when you've got one of the world's best basketball players as a parent and an alum sitting courtside at a game? What's it like to coach when you have 25,000 people and the fan base is PO'd that they don't have even more there to cheer on, right? What's it like to coach in that spotlight? And so many of them withered, or they asked questions that you could tell they were a little afraid of the moment. There was one person that never flinched when you asked that question. And the only thing he said was, let's go. That was Gerry McNamara. So we had that conversation, and we're talking. I said, well, what do you need? And he says to me, I need to win, and I need to win now. And from that moment on, I remember going back to my home to my wife and telling her, there's something different about this guy. There's something special here. And then I had a really good friend text me a video of Jerry's jersey retirement here many moons ago. We're getting old, man. And to see the buses from Scranton, the tears, the excitement, and to see that come full circle today, this is truly, truly a special, special moment. So why is this important, right? All of you are here. You're obviously bought in. You believe in what we're trying to do in college athletics. You believe in this basketball program. But for those maybe watching through the camera that don't know, why is basketball important? It's really important, centrally, one, for this university. Right? We are in the business of higher education, educating young people, but we also want anybody connected to this university to wear that orange with pride and be really proud about being from Central New York, connected to this university and all that it represents. So often athletic programs are not the most important thing that happen at a university by any stretch of the imagination, but they are one of the most visible, and they all do esteem, this self-esteem for a place, for a people that we collectively feel really proud of what we're a part of. And I think having one of our own lead our program is certainly a step in the right direction. So what is the vision? What is the next step? I think we need a couple things from everybody. One, we need 110% from everybody in this room, everybody watching online, everybody connected to Syracuse athletics, right? And what does that 110% look? It looks different for everybody. For some, it's buying an extra tub of popcorn. For others, it's buying extra t-shirts. When you're in California, Washington, or Texas, you're a walking billboard for all that's great about this place. For others, it's financially supporting this program to make sure we continue to lead and be at the cutting edge for basketball and all of our programs as we continue to try to chase excellence. I can promise you this. We are committed to making sure our program has the resources. We're committed to making sure our program has the support. We're committed to weaponizing the dome. We're committed to Gerry McNamara. So before, absolutely, round of applause. So before I have the honor and privilege of introducing your next head coach, let's take a quick look at the past.
I didn't think I'd have a post-playing career that would be as equally rewarding.
It's good! Gerry McNamara! McNamara, a three-point roll!
Now, Gerry McNamara, we wouldn't have won 10 games this year. Not 10.
McNamara and Dievendorf, and they've got their first lead of the night. Right between the eyes, just like this, goes on fire.
Lock and load, a little nylon from Scranton, PA.
Look at this shot. Oh, my goodness. He has unbelievable range and unbelievable confidence for a freshman. Too long, and Syracuse is your national champion.
I didn't think I'd have a coach playing career that would be as equally rewarding, and I have. It's because of the guys that I've worked with.
Anyone who knows GMAC knows he's the ultimate competitor. When the stage was the biggest and the lights were the brightest, we were always ready to perform.
He didn't have much space whatsoever. Quick check.
Pressure bucket for Tyus Battle.
The juice is loose, Jim Nance.
He got it. He hit the shot. Waiters. He'll take it in and throw it down.
I've known Gerry for a long time. He outcoached me. He outcoached us. He's a tough competitor who's run at the highest level. That's who he's been his entire life that I've known him, as a competitor.
We chose Gerry McNamara to be the next leader of our men's basketball program. And for the third time in his life, Gerry McNamara and his family chose Syracuse. I need everybody in this room to choose this moment and make sure we take this moment and create some momentum. So please stand up and a loud ovation for your Knicks head basketball coach, Gerry McNamara.
I love you too, and you know it. It's like an old Georgetown game where people couldn't even see the court when I'm looking back here. I can't even tell you how honored, how blessed I am for this moment to be here. It really is kind of a dream come true for us. But you don't get to these moments single-handedly. It's not a solo mission. I've had a ton of help along my journey. This past 2 years was a really rewarding one for us, for my wife, our kids, to get the opportunity to be a part of the Siena community, where for the first time I was able to go off and be a head coach, cut my teeth. The people of that community, the Capital Region, President Chuck Seifert, John Dargenio, Lori Anktel, Drew Santandera, Mike Demos, Anthony Anto Policia, Father Kevin Mullen, Lynn Young, all the people I worked with, and there's many more, Kyle Adam, the people I worked with at Siena. They believed in me. They gave me an opportunity. And the support was there right from the start for me. I was set up for success because of these people. And the Capital Region, welcomed our family. The biggest fear for us leaving here was when we left the community here is finding schools for our kids. We go to, and all of a sudden, CBA Albany takes care of our oldest. St. Pius, their church and parish, take care of our 3 other ones. Just really, really blessed for this past 2 years to live in another incredible community. It's helped me get to here. And one of the reasons I'm here, one of the biggest reasons, Doc, is to my players and my staff that I was so blessed to work with at Siena. I'm pretty sure everybody was watching the Duke game, if you haven't seen us Yeah, everyone watched that one, but we were actually pretty fun to watch other than that. But the first team meeting we had with our group when we first got them was all about the responsibility that we had to the community. We owed it to the Siena community to make sure that the product that they watched was one worth watching, one that they could be proud of. When we take over year one, have the 9th best turnaround in the country as our first year, and we flip that to this year, and you have 23 wins, a MAC championship, and you're off to the NCAA tournament before you know it. That's a team to be proud of. So for the kids that I coached, how incredibly connected they were, how professional they were. They practiced with intent. There was never a bad day. I'm so forever grateful for this past season, and I wouldn't be here. Coach, Coach Boeheim knows, like every coach, we all have got an ego, but the reality of it is when you have good players, it makes it a lot better. I had really good players. They helped me look better. They played as hard as they could, and again, I'm so proud of what I went through this past 2 years, and forever grateful for the community and the teams that I had at Siena. Now, the other thing, I've got a lot of people in here, Brett, Just, Kev, my 2 agents that I've got to thank, in terms of motivationally pushing me, not just as my agents, but friends. They've encouraged me to grow as a coach. To be completely transparent, a few years ago when the Siena job came open, I almost didn't take it. And I didn't take it because of my loyalty here. And it was those 2 that convinced me, like, you're ready. You need to do this. It's your time. So I'm forever grateful for you 2, not just your professional guidance, but your friendship. I'm always, I vent, I confide, and you're always there for me. My mother and father, who are here today. Yeah. They're not just here today. They've been here the whole time, everything I've ever done, the support that I've had. One of the great things and memories of my life after I was offered this job, and we were going to sign the contract, was when I got a chance to FaceTime my mother and father and to tell them, I'm about to sign a contract to be the head coach at Syracuse University. I've been supported. Everything I feel like I am as a person, as a man, as a husband, a father, I learned in that household. And I was lucky to be the youngest of 4. My siblings are here, Bridget, Maureen, and Timmy. Timmy kicked my rear end the majority of my young life. But this is how lucky I am. The biggest heartbreak of my professional career was when we took Duke to the wire. And I was heartbroken for my kids. I really was. I thought we played well enough to win. We just kind of ran out of gas. But when I got back to the hotel, not just Katie and my children, but Bridget, Maureen, and Timmy were there. Daniel Haggerty, my brother-in-law, Megan. I've got so many people in my family, my life, my siblings, my in-laws. My mother-in-law, Margaret's here. I told the story on my senior day. I have the fairy tale in-law story. I love it. Some people might have the horror story. She's an angel. She's a saint. The last move we made with my children, I called them brave for changing communities. When I look at them now, they're a lot bigger than 2 years ago when I was doing my last press conference. My son I was already angry he had a better golf swing than me. He's now taller than me at 14. But I'm so proud, I'm so proud of your bravery to continue to change communities. But this one as brave as you are, I think you're happy today getting to come home and be a part of this community. And, you know, my wife, we've lived in Greece twice, Bakersfield, California, Reno, Latvia, you know, Loudonville, and now, of course, Syracuse. You've sacrificed so much that it's not even, you put everyone before yourself. Me, the kids. You know, going into the last job, my wife said something to me in passing. She said, our happiness is simple. And the way I took that was, yes, it is. It's very simple because it's us. It's always going to be us. We're in this together always. But as I take this job, it's not as simple as that. Our happiness is simple because you make it so easy for us to be happy. There's no one I love and truly admire more than you. To Chancellor Haney, John Wildhack, Brian Blair, thank you. Thank you. For believing in me, believing in the vision for what this institution should be, the direction of the program. You know, I'm getting to know Chancellor Haney and Brian a little bit better over the last few weeks. Let me tell you something about Brian. Brian Blair is a competitor. He's a competitor. You know, the first conversation he and I had was a phone conversation. We talked for like 35 or 40 minutes. He asked me a simple question at the end of this. He said, hey, Coach, you have any questions for me? I said, true story, right? I said, no. I said, Brian, listen, I know you got a job to do. I just want to let you know, if you need my help, you need anything else from me, just reach out. It's my cell phone. But I'll tell you this, you're going to love Syracuse. You're going to fall in love with the place. So, second time we had a conversation was in person, okay? Brian asked the same simple question. He said, Coach, you have any questions for me? I said, matter of fact, I do. What are you looking for in a head coach? And this is when I saw him. Like truly, fully, for the first time, saw him. And he leaned in, and we were close at this point, you know, we were a few feet there. And with conviction, and I've seen it before, he looked me in the eyes and said, I want to win. No matter what, I want to win. I said, now you're speaking my language. And I think it was really that statement from Brian, for me, where it went from being an interview to really motivationally aligned. Like we're lockstep. Same mentality, same goals, same direction. Now since then, I've learned that he likes the outdoors and he loves to fish. Like if this dude listens to Pearl Jam, we might as well go do karate in the garage together. Anyone get that? Movie buffs. But I'll tell you this, straightforward, man to man, I cannot wait to get to work with you. Now, 26 years ago, it's terrifying, I know, but 26 years ago, the first time I walked through Gate A, probably right around here, and saw the dome for the first time. The JMA Wireless Dome for the first time. And I looked down And it was the summer camp, so the courts were on. And I knew, man, I knew right away. That was the first time you saw me, Coach. I knew right away. I'm coming to school here. Well, you had to offer me that night, and you did, so smart man. Yeah, second guess. But I went home and you know, my imagination ran wild. Like envisioning a packed house, you know, championships, making threes, hopefully, you know, making threes, you know. And I'll tell you what happened. I came here, and for the next 4 years, Coach, what happened? Packed house, championships, and threes, a lot of them. But there was a different experience. You know, there was something else that happened during this 4-year stretch of my experience. What happened was my love. My love grew for the people of this city, for the university that gave me an opportunity to showcase my gifts on the biggest stage. And I knew that it was going to be difficult one day to leave here. So I didn't. And I don't plan on it anytime soon. Now, here's the reality. All right? We've got work to do. We do. But this right here is what separates us from 99.9% of college basketball. Yeah, it's a fact. Yell it louder. It's a fact. Yep. Now, we're going to put together an elite staff here. All right, elite at skill development. They're going to have character, experience, multiple levels, both from the grassroots level to the NBA level. You know, some familiar faces, some new faces. And what we're going to do when we get the staff together a week from tomorrow starts the portal, and the frenzy starts. All right, and that's when recruiting happens. Now, recruiting's got to, where it's got to start is right here at home base. Right here. All right, the first part of recruiting has to be retention. All right, the cupboard ain't bare here, guys. I watched this group. There's some talent with this roster. Now, those conversations they've been taking place. I've met with these guys last week. I'll meet with them again this week out of privacy for them because they have opportunities, representation. You know, we'll keep those private, and we'll see what we could do with some of these guys to move the program forward. But they will be taking place this week, those conversations. You know, but I've done this. This will be the second time in my career doing it. My message here does not change. It doesn't change. Every team that I coach, that we put on the court, is going to be ready to play. They will be prepared. Now, you could talk about style. You know, a lot of coaches will come up here and be like, we're going to play fast. You know, it's like a lot of people will do that. We were #1 in offensive efficiency in our league, and we were a top 15 team in the country in defensive points per game allowed. So what am I bringing here? Efficient. We're going to be efficient. We're going to be smart. We're going to have ball security. We're going to be tough, resilient. We're going to have high character. You know, I ask every kid that plays for me in every recruitment, I said, I need your respect and your maturity, non-negotiable. Give me those two things. Give me those two things, we'll get along just fine. But make no mistake, you know why I'm here. Anybody that knows me knows why I'm here. I'm here to win. It's who I am, and it's who I will always be. Let's get this thing going.
Jeff, I think you can just feel the excitement there, the hope that Gerry McNamara can bring Syracuse back into the national conversation, and not just as a tradition, but as a contender again.
Look at that. I mean, look at that picture right there.
2 seconds, but the first thing I need to do is for our members of the media, we're going to be heading down to the basketball.
Okay, that's just good. We're talking. They're talking
formalities.
about little formalities there. Yeah. You're not missing anything. There is going to be a formal press conference with Gerry McNamara with the media. Of course, our sports director Stephen Fonte will be there. That's coming up in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll get you there when that starts. But really, I just was like so taken by that shot. And again, here we go. They're even blocking our camera. They're all standing up there. It's unbelievable. Bringing down the house, Myron Victory Court, absolutely filled to the rafters. If you couldn't really tell when he said it's like a Georgetown game where people were sitting so far away they could hardly see the court, I think they had them packed in around Myron Victory Court. So far, it was hard for everybody to even get a good view, but everybody wanted to be there.
Yeah, so much excitement there, and I think a lot of fans are curious about, what's his version of Syracuse basketball going to look like? And he alluded to the fact that he's going to put together an elite staff. There's going to be some new familiar faces, some new staff. But the message, he says, is the same. Every team he's going to put out there will be prepared, ready. We are here to win. Fans needed to hear that, Jeff.
All right, we're going to actually now send you off to the regular programming. That's the Inside Edition. Come back with us in 10 minutes or so, and we'll get you to that press conference with Gerry McNamara.
Thanks for joining us.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.